So together with him this morning, we shall be discussing how being a youth has been.
City life is full of worries. No one.
And the strides taken to becoming a successful one at that. Good morning, Sheriff.
Yeah, good morning. How are you? Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you too?
Yeah, I'm doing absolutely well.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show this morning.
Pleasure being here.
Right. Looking at your portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
I understand you're a student
Yes, sir.
of business administration at the University of Lagos.
Yes.
As well, you double that as the host of the Crazy Enough podcast.
Yes.
And creator/founder of the Little More NFT Project.
Yes.
Might you explain to us what these initiatives are, starting with the Crazy Enough podcast?
The Crazy Enough podcast, right? So, the Crazy Enough podcast is founded from the quote by Steve Jobs, where he says, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world that they want to do," right? So, the world generally has stated that only certain level of people can get to change the world, and I looked at it generally, and people among different ages, 9 or 91, 7 or 71, are doing great things in the world and impacting the world at their own level. So that's why I started the podcast, to be able to have these discussions and conversations with people at different levels, changing the whole world from their level, where I can learn from that and put out this information and discussions to help inspire anybody watching to then go on and be crazy enough for them to change the world too. So that's what the podcast is about.
Okay, how about the NFT project?
Right, the NFT project, it's about growth and becoming, right? So I call it Lomo, right? So it is more about growth, right? So I believe one of my goals going forward in this world is one day I want to sell out the O2 Arena. The O2 Arena is a big stadium in London that it is believed that it's only musicians and like comedians that get to sell it out. So as someone that is passionate about growth, I want to reach that level where I can help so many people that I can draw such a crowd and sell out the O2 Arena. So the Little Mo NFT project is me saying, I am Mo, but I'm still little right now. Someday I'm going to become Big Mo. I am documenting my process of me being Little Mo to becoming Big Mo. If you think I can become Big Mo, or if you think at some level you too can become your own big level, invest in this NFT project. And it's still in the works, but it's just about growth and inspiring other people too to think about how they can be next 10, next 15 years.
This is great. I mean, this is impressive. How did you find yourself here?
How did I find myself where?
How did you find yourself coming up with such initiatives?
Right. So thing is, I went to King's College Lagos. That's secondary school I went to, and I loved it. I was doing beautifully well academically and even extracurricular. I won a lot of spelling bee competitions outside the that's how I performed at the highest levels in secondary school. So I left secondary school trying to get into Unilag, right? And there was, that 6 months break after secondary school where we had to stay at home. And I realized that when there was no school, I had nothing else I was doing with my life. I would literally wake up every day, eat food, watch Netflix, watch a football match, play football, repeat the same thing. There was no meaning because of there was no school. And I mean, that's what everybody else was doing, and I realized that I do not want that life. I don't just want to live my life basic. So I didn't know I was still just exploring. Then I saw a video from Jay Shetty where he said that the biggest mistake we make in life is we think we have time. So it was at that point I woke up and I told myself that I wouldn't waste my 24 hours every day not doing something. So I started reading a lot of books, watching a lot of podcasts, listening to a lot of people that are smarter than me. And it was at that point that I realized that, okay, I've learned a lot. And even though I'm not an expert yet, the little I've learned, I'll start sharing it little by little via one video every single day. And I started doing that, and I've been gathering a lot of people that share the vision to that, like, oh yeah, I like what this boy is doing. And it's inspiring me to go chase after my dream. So that's how I got here.
Oh, good. So, and how has the support been, particularly from folks, parents, and the likes?
Oh, the support has been beautiful. My parents, alhamdulillah, they've supported me the most, right? Because when I started, one thing my parents did for me that I really appreciate, it's very simple. They make the standards clear. And it's right from when I was small. Okay, you want a bicycle? Yes, we'll get you a bicycle, but get 90 in maths, right? So it's the same thing that happened in secondary school. You want to participate in specific competition? No, beautiful. But then you must pass your WAEC, right? So when I told them I wanted to go into video creation, we're like, you can absolutely do that, but do not mess up your grades in university. And I'm doing beautifully well on that. So that's where it comes from parents, right? And generally the support from people, it's natural. When I first started out, people told me that who am I to come and tell people how to live their lives? But I expected that, and after some sort of effort consistently, people got to understand where I was coming from, and they liked it. So the support has been beautiful all around, I must say.
Oh, good. So, have you been able to balance studying
Yeah.
as well as this content?
Yeah, that I'm
creation?
creating. I do not struggle with the balance at all, because studying is something that I have to do. It's not something I want to do, right? So let me give you an example. If I have a math assignment due that I'm supposed to submit tomorrow, throughout today from this morning till like about 6 p.m., the maths book is on my table, but I also have a motivational book that is about personal growth. I would read my personal growth book, right? But then I realized that I have an assignment due by 8 a.m. tomorrow, right? By 6 p.m. I'll start panicking. That's when I'll now grab the maths. But I am smart, academically smart. Like if I give something a little bit of time, I'll figure it out. So eventually I'll get the assignment done. So why I mean by like the balance is not a problem is I would naturally do what I like and what I'm good at, up until the point where I realize that okay, I'm going too far away. I do not want to mess up another important part of my life. So there is no balance. If I have a test tomorrow and I have a podcast today, I will go for the podcast today and I will still make it in time for the test.
Or perhaps maybe because you're smart and
Yeah,
you're able to.
yeah.
Okay, so what would be your advice for someone who is not as smart as you? I mean, because you need to have a plan. You need to have a structured
exactly.
plan.
So if you notice when I said that, I said it is not a problem for me, right? So it's all about self-awareness. So for people that are multi-diverse and like they are into different things, you have to know what works for you. So if you know that you need enough time to like get your academic life on point, then give it that amount of time. My thing is just do not judge yourself too much about it, right? In the very end, you can only do as much as you're good, right? So if you think you need more time for school, give it more time. But I would say whatever is important to you, do not just neglect that. Also play around with everything. That's what I'll say. Like literally, the balance shouldn't be a problem. You know where you are good at, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. Create your balance around that. Do not stress it too much. It's not that deep. It's not hard.
Okay, so I mean, from what you've said so far,
Yeah.
I can deduce
Yes.
that do not stress yourself on things that won't come naturally. Is that the point? Do what you have to do because you have to do it right, but at the same time, do not stress yourself on things that don't come naturally.
Yes, absolutely. Because I believe with the way things.
Sorry to cut you short.
All right.
You mentioned studying because you have to study.
Yes.
And I want to assume that means it's not fun studying. So is it a Nigerian factor, or is it just, I mean, if you find yourself abroad, would you...
That's a very beautiful question. So I've even delved with a little bit of abroad. I've done some online courses abroad, right? I even realized, and that was what I was thinking before, that if I was in a society like the United States where if you study well, they will reward you based on that would I give it more effort? Yes, absolutely I would.
Perhaps there's a motivational...
Yes, there's something that still pushes me. But even if I find myself in that atmosphere, I would still give more time to the things I'm passionate about, things I like and things I'm good at. Because if the United States can reward me, that society can reward me for doing very well academically, it will reward me so much more if I do very well at what I'm good at, right? So
Perhaps you could even channel your academics to what you're passionate about.
Exactly. Like the reason someone in my class is getting a first class, and me, I'm first class too, but like let's say he's on 4.9 and I'm on 4.5. The only reason he has 4.9 and I have 4.5 is not because he's smarter than me. It's because he actually likes maths. He likes the quadratic equation. This is what he does normally and naturally. So he is not stressing himself. So I really think do what you have to do. But if you find something that you like and you're good at it, you don't need motivation to come up and do those things. You get up every day and do those things, and we should tend to build our life towards that.
Great. I like that, and I think I'm quite impressed. This is a really productive one.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed. Okay, I also understand that you do motivational speaking.
Yes.
At this point.
Yes.
And it makes me wonder that, I mean, we still have good youths. I mean, I missed the generic tag stigma that we have around the Nigerian youth.
Yes.
So, the motivational speaking.
Yeah.
How did you stumble upon it, and how are you able? What are your audience? Your audiences, rather. I mean, do you speak to like minds? Do you speak to elderly? Do you speak to people who are older?
So you asked two questions. How did I stumble upon that, and what's my audience currently? So stumbling upon it, I think it would be my parents set the path, right? So I grew up in an Islamic family, and obviously growing up, I always wanted to be successful. Like my parents put it straight up in me, self-esteem, and yes, go on and be successful. So and when you are coming up and you see the likes of like the people that were popping and were successful are musicians, it was natural for me to want to be like, I want to be a musician, I want to be a rapper. But my parents also made it clear that there are some things you do not go into. So I realized that if I wasn't going to do music, or if I wasn't going to act, then what would I do? So I tried a lot of stuff in primary school and secondary school, and I realized that I was good at speaking. Like I could speak very well. Like from Arabic school or primary school, if there was anything to be presented, it's Muhammad they would call. So that came to me, right? But that's after some development. I wouldn't call it a talent. I developed it, right? But then it was just speaking, just the same way someone will play football or someone will do any other thing. But then the moment I decided to make motivational speaking was, there's this guy in my secondary school. His name was Ken Carter's, right? So Ken Carter's came to my school, and within the space of 30 minutes. See, I went to King's College. We are only boys. We are very stubborn. We do not listen. Our principal has been trying to say the same thing for us for like 3 years. Every day, assembly, nobody listens. This guy came under 30 minutes and convinced us to do things that our principal has been trying to tell us to do for 3 years. See people bringing out contraband, see people deciding they wanted to study, see people bringing out of their pocket money that they're going to buy books. So it was fascinating to me that someone could communicate on that level. So that was the first point I stumbled with motivational speaking. I'm like, wow, interesting. Like so someone can convince people at that level. I would want to be a great communications person. So that's where it started. But then so I realized I was good at speaking, but even Ken Carter's busting my brain, it didn't still give me the morale that I could do it. So that happened. Then I left secondary school and I was on social media, right? I got phone. And all I'm seeing on my feed is Sydney Talker dancing, or like TikTokers. TikTok wasn't popping then yet, right? But I was seeing, you know, our Instagram feed, either musicians or celebrities. That was the norm. And obviously, I was watching the same way everybody was watching. But then I wasn't intrigued. Like I wasn't intrigued. Then I stumbled on someone. His name is Jay Shetty, and I watched his video. For 3 years on social media, I wasn't intrigued at all. I watched somebody for 3 minutes, and I'm intrigued. I'm like, this has happened somewhere before. It happened with Ken Carter's. So it was at that point I realized that I want to use my speaking motivationally. I was speaking at some levels at that point, but that was when I realized that, no, I want to make people feel things from the words I say, because I can literally talk about anything. So why don't I use it for a greater purpose? So I decided that, okay, I was going to work on my growth to the point where I'm growing very well and I'm learning a lot from people smarter and wiser than me, and I will filter that and I will share that little by little. And it has been impressive. Talking about who my audience is, I have 45k followers on TikTok right now.
Wow.
It's mind-blowing thinking about it. I didn't realize I'll be here right now, right? So I have a little bit about 7,500 on Instagram. My YouTube is a little bit about 1k, I have a podcast. Like instead of people listening to music, right? Someone's listening to Naira Marley or listening to Whiskey. At some point, the person will break that Naira Marley and Whiskey and be like, okay, I want to listen to Moshe, and he will listen to my words instead of music. So that's where my audience is at, right? And it varies. I have a mother that messaged me one day and said she wants her son to be like me, right? I have 13-year-old kids messaging me talking about how they wanted to commit suicide, but they stumbled upon a video. They just said they wanted to check TikTok for the last time. They stumbled upon a video, and from there they went into my account, and I have a lot of videos on my page, over 1,500. So the rabbit hole continues. Like next week she continue, yeah? So my audience is all sorts of people.
Cut across all genres.
All genres, all countries. I've had people from India messaging me like, why is someone in India watching? I do not understand how the person stumbled on my video, but yeah, and I'm grateful.
I think we should try to get one of your videos, perhaps.
Oh, yeah. All right, yeah, let's do that.
Okay, let's do that. However, while we do that, what would be your advice for upcoming youths so that they can toe this path and not necessarily, because of course you understand what the general conception is about the youths nowadays,
Yes,
particularly in
yes,
Nigeria.
yes.
So what's your advice? You're a motivational speaker.
Mhm.
Give us a 5 minutes motivational talk
Really?
to Nigerian youths right here, right now. Let them listen to you.
5 minutes?
Yes, 5 minutes.
All right, let's do this. So, do I start?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so beautiful. So when it all comes down, you become who you follow, right? So looking at me right now, I think I've gotten to some places because I follow some people, right? And look at so many people condemning social media. It's addictive, it's destructive. People on their phones for 8 hours. But why are people complaining about that? It doesn't make any sense to me. Because if you're spending 8 hours on social media and you're watching musicians, that will be a problem for you. But if you're spending 8 hours on social media and you're watching people that have achieved the things you want to achieve, it will lead you towards the right direction. So for me, it all comes down, the first thing you need to ask yourself is like, there are two things. What's your purpose in life, right? And to me, I think our purpose stems from two things. That God created us on planet Earth to serve Him, and one way we can serve Him is by serving His creatures, right? So ask yourself deep down, walk into your mirror and look yourself right in the mirror and ask yourself, what do I really want to be? Who do I really want to become? When it's all said and done on my deathbed, when I'm thinking about how I lived my life, what do I want to say? Like, people die and the only things they keep saying on their deathbed is, I wish I did this, I wish I did that, right? My biggest goal is on my deathbed, I want to say beautiful, alhamdulillah, I gave you my best, right? So every single day when it all comes down, I ask myself, who do I want to become, right? And when I look at that, I reverse engineer it back to where I am currently, and I tell myself, today I have to read a book from someone smarter than me. Today I have to watch an Islamic video because I need to get connected to God. So it's literally simple. Ask yourself, who do you really want to be? And every single day try to do something at least 1% to get you closer to that thing. It's as simple as that. Like, the people that are making money are not smarter than you. People that are getting followers are not smarter than you. People that are killing it in class are not smarter than you. Like, everybody has the same amount of brain cells, right? So it eventually becomes, what do you want and how are you going to work towards it? Because I literally have 24 hours in a day. You have 24 hours in a day. Elon Musk has 24 hours in a day. Literally. save 24 hours in a day. And some people might die early, some people might die at 91. It depends. But while you are still alive, what are you doing? What did you do yesterday? What did you do today? How is tomorrow going to be better than today? Sometimes, because it's fun for me to come here and be saying I'm a motivational speaker, but sometimes, like, it's hard for me to do the things I say I want to do, right? It happens. But how I've been able to go through things like this, I tell myself, okay, like, I woke up this morning right now and I say, I want to achieve 3 things today. I want to put out a video, I want to be here in time for the podcast, and I want to probably call my mom and talk to her because I've not talked to her any longer. That's a daily goal, right? But then if I look at my bigger goal, I have like, okay, I want to grow, I want to continue to be connected to God, and I want to inspire people. And what just comes down in the very end is that wake up every day, do at least one thing to get you closer to your goal, and you wake up next 10 years and you see that you've done a lot, and you'll be like, is it me that did all of this? See, that's what I'll say. Do not stress yourself too much, do not judge yourself too much. Everybody else is judging, everybody is telling you are making mistakes, everybody will tell you how they want you to live their life when themselves don't even know how to live their lives. Literally, do what feels right to you, and as far as it doesn't affect anybody, and wake up every day, try to get better. Literally, that's what I would say.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I wish. Can we give him a clap? I mean, my crew. Let's give him a clap. Mashallah.
Yeah,
barakallah fik.
mashallah.
That's spot on. However, I mean, I can see a couple of your podcasts,
yeah.
and I think the one that calls my attention right now is pain is part of the process.
All right, let's listen to
Keep
it.
on
I
moving.
can't remember what it is, but let's listen to it.
I mean, if you can't remember that, it means you have loads of them.
Yeah, loads,
Okay, so
yeah.
let's listen.
Everybody in this world has dreams, but only about 1% gets to achieve these crazy dreams. Now, the difference between the 1% and 99% is the ability to push past the pain period, right? Every champion is seen. Messi, Ronaldo, Beyonce, Michael Jordan, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. Every single one of them, yeah, they have struggles, they have obstacles too, but then they understand that after pain is pleasure. Like when you're down, when everything is fucked up, just right after that, success is coming, right? So, it reminds me of what Muhammad Ali said. Muhammad Ali said, I don't count my sit-ups. I only start counting when it starts hurting, because that's when sit-up truly counts. Like, I don't know where you are in your journey right now, but then if you are in pain, if you're going through don't stop. Keep fucking going until you get to heaven. I'm waiting for you, but then pain is part of the process.
Wow. Can you remember that now?
I literally, as I was listening to it, I was like, okay, I said this, so this is what I'm supposed to say next, and I'm hearing something else. So I can't remember whether I recorded that, because it's about 7 different pieces that in that, right?
Okay.
And I literally can't, but yeah, it's me now, obviously.
I mean, that's great. So, I mean, it's pain is part of the process.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like saying whatever it is you do, there's hardship.
Yes.
And certainly, success comes out of hardship.
Yes. And if there is no hardship at all, that is even failure in and of itself. Like, what kind of life is it if we're only happy throughout the time? What kind of life is it if we're only rich throughout the time? What kind of life it is if we're only successful throughout the time? If you're successful throughout the time, you do not appreciate the importance of success. If you have money all the time, you do not value that money. So yeah, pain is just an indication that there is something that is still coming. So do not just stop there, keep going. Yeah,
Great. So, in order to round off,
Yeah.
what next? I mean, going forward for you with these initiatives and the likes. I know you made mention of taking it to global stage.
Yes.
You know, aside from that, do you have any other plans? For example, hosting your radio show, or I mean, what other plans do you have?
So I have a lot of plans. I have a lot of ideas. Like now, at some point, I want to someday have my Netflix cartoon that is straight up motivational. Like kids, I didn't watch a lot of cartoon, but I mean, our heroes when we were younger was Ben 10 or Naruto, right? So next 15 years, I want your kids or your grandkids to be like Lil Mo, right? So Lil Mo will obviously be a cartoon, right? A cartoon character, just same with Ben 10. But then the storyline behind it will be about positivity, growth. So these are some of the things that I plan on doing at some point. When it comes to entrepreneurship, like I mean, I want to make some sort of money. I want to have businesses, right? Because obviously I need some sort of level of funds and resources to do these beautiful things that are coming into my head. Someday I'd love to own an airline. That's how big I'm dreaming.
Wow.
So
You know, sorry to cut you short. There's
Yeah?
this thing about motivational speaking.
uh-huh.
When you hear a motivational speaker, you think you can actually face a lion.
You think you can who could face a lion?
Yeah. I mean, that's the generic
Yeah.
thing. Do you share that ideology? That I mean, motivational speaking makes you feel you can do what? I mean, maybe not literally.
Yeah.
I mean, but you can do what you ordinarily. I mean, just like you're intoxicated, but you're intoxicated on the speech.
Adrenaline, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So first of all, I don't even like identifying with the term motivational speaker. I'm a speaker. Some of my words tend to be motivational. If you go through my TikTok page right now, I have a video about something else that is not motivational, and in the comments they are all insulting me because of my perspective on dating. Do you understand?
Do you want to shed more light on that?
On that,
Let's do that some other time.
Okay.
It's great having you on
Yes.
the show this morning.
Mhm.
Sharif Mohammed Oluwatobi. How can we find you? I mean, the listeners.
Yes,
How
yes.
can they find you on the social media platforms, or do you have a WhatsApp contact? How can we find you?
It's
Certainly, you're coming back. I can assure you, because I know the audience likes the feel of what
Yeah,
they've listened to
definitely,
so far.
definitely.
But however, how can they find you?
me? So on all social media platforms, TikTok, Mo Sheriff, MOH for Mo dot Sheriff, 1 R 2 Fs, MOH.SHERIFF. That's the same for Instagram. For YouTube, it's the same thing, just MOH space Sheriff. And if you want to listen to my podcast and you don't want to listen to music, go on any listening platform, Google Podcast. I mean, many people don't even know what podcasts are. That's how. Oh God.
Don't worry, you're enlightening me.
But search crazy. Just even go on Google and search "Crazy Enough" with Sharif Mohammed. The first link you see from there, you can get to listen to any podcast. So that's where you can find me. If you go to my Instagram, you can even see my email. Send me an email. I'll get back to you.
I'll simply just type Sharif Mohammed
yeah.
on Google search.
Google.
Thank you so much for coming on the show
Thank you
this
for having
morning.
me.
It's been so insightful, like I always say, for an educational piece we have on this show. We hope to have you some other time. Don't worry, we'll discuss about that and
Definitely,
schedule
I'd love to.
possibly a show of yours.
I would love that.
Going forward.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I wish we have more of you as youths in this country, and Nigeria can be a better